sausages not looking good. 80 Ricky.
Yeah, what's here? What's here? What's up? Just again. Give me a second, guys. What can't I? Oh, hell no. The city has gone so massive that it's quite hard to micromanage. I'm trying to build this zoo. One of the it's locked in. £5. School. Oh crap. Citizens are sick. unlocked monuments. Eden project. What, Brent?
Yo.
Hello. Yeah, trying to get my city to 100,000 population.
Brew, this guy stinks.
Oh, brother. Hello?
Oh, brother, this guy stinks.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks. Yeah, I'm trying to get to 100,000 population on this game.
Yeah. Is that a trophy?
Yeah, I think you get a trophy. I just did something really new. You know the highway. I just made it to one big roundabout. You can see.
Oh shit.
I just made it to a massive roundabout. See if it works or not. So far, it's working fine. Oh, brother, this guy stinks.
Have you seen all the videos on YouTube and stuff of people making like London and stuff?
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
I know. But those guys is playing on PC because they're using mods.
Yeah, mod, yeah.
Oh, bro, this guy stinks. Bloody hell.
War.
Jamie is off to work now.
Yeah.
We won't be seeing him until 4 days.
Brother.
I don't know. Everybody get high sometimes.
Everybody get high sometimes, you know. Ding, ding.
Oh hell no! Someone's a believer. Someone been listening to too much Justin Bieber songs.
Mate, wanna get a punch? Yeah.
You want to see how big my city? I basically made my city into chunks.
Let's see.
Like one here, the main hub, second city.
Holy shit. Where's all the industrial stuff?
Industrial stuff is like separated. Like here, 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 and here, and here.
Nice. Barbara Streisand. Barbara Streisand.
Scheiße. Scheiße.
One.
Business park. I need to construct a business park. Commercial zone, I see.
This guy stinks!
Shit. Just I've been hearing lots of ambulance releases recently.
Probably because people are probably dying.
Like today, the whole day, I'm hearing like ambulance.
Maybe because people are drinking.
Probably. What's a Scooby-Doo? We're coming after you. And I solve that mystery. Brother, this guy stinks. It's so annoying to play this game at night mode.
Why?
You literally can't see a thing.
It's fucking excuses, mate. It's fucking excuses, mate.
Literally doing nothing.
Hmm?
No, I'm talking the game.
Yeah. Into the unknown.
Jeez. There's traffic jam here.
Huh? Jeez, man. Can you catch a guy, Brady?
Hello, is EXO there?
Hello?
No EXO, huh?
Oh, he doesn't have a mic. Sorry.
Oh, EXO's mic has been broken, huh?
Yeah.
I see. That's why he hasn't joined any of the parties I sent him. Okay.
Say hello.
But he's on my phone though, or WhatsApp. He can hear you.
Oh. Oh, what's up, EXO? Tell him his old friend from the States is saying hi.
Oh, I see.
Playing a game with an annoying background sound.
Well, can you hear him though? He's on my WhatsApp.
Yeah, I can.
Oh, I see. But I don't think. Brent, can you hear him?
No,
Can you
I
hear your
can't.
friend? Oh, okay.
Anyhow.
I don't know what game he's playing. Oh, I see.
I'm playing this word maze thing.
Oh, nice. Oh, so you're starting a custom controller company? Oh, I see.
Custom controller.
Yes. Oh, wow. So, well, I'm going to tell it to Brent, Axo.
Yeah.
So, Animals is saying that he's gonna start. He's gonna start a business, custom controller business.
Yeah.
So if you got any controller you want to, you have to customize. You do customize controller as well.
Yep.
Oh, I see. So customize controller, or if you want to repair any controller, so you can send him a message or your address.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah, just started getting into it because I bought a scuff, which was like a $200 and some odd, and the thing broke like
Oh,
instantly. And then I was like, geez. So I did some research, and there's some companies that do them that make custom controllers from a standard PS5, but they're charging on average for fully customized controller about 300 pounds to $320 US dollars.
Yeah.
So I went ahead and looked at the parts, how much it would take to get the parts, to order the parts, send them in, and ship out a controller, and I could do it for well under $300. So I'm gonna start getting a couple out there, and I was offering to some of my friends that I know that play a lot, that have like a steady group of friends that they also play with. I figured, hey, if I get them a controller that's been repaired and modified and is working, and 6 months later they're telling their friends, hey, this controller's working great, I like it, then that's basically all the advertising I need right now, because I'm not going to be, I couldn't handle like some YouTuber giving me a shout out that has a million views, because next thing you know I'd be flooded with requests. But what I can handle is my friends right now, while I can maintain my quality of service, and then until I can find other people who are willing to do the same quality work as I can and hire them.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of excited because it'll be like, you know, my first time being my own boss.
That's
And-
quite. That's amazing. That's quite good. Starting your own business.
Yeah. So from what I hear, everybody's like, when you are your own boss, you need to have good work ethic, though. You know, like you have to be willing to go out there and put in all the work and get all the research done, things like that. So I'm excited.
Yeah, sounds difficult. Sound tough though. At the beginning, I think it's quite hard.
Oh yeah, it can. That's basically the hardest part of most businesses is your first few years. If you survive that first year and you're not like completely just swamped and overloaded, then the next 2 years will get easier, and then by the third year you're making money and you're happy and you're looking at maybe helping other people get work. You know, that's basically the thing. That's the way I look at it. Is me creating this business, I'm creating a job for me, and then eventually I'll be able to create jobs for other people.
Yeah, nice.
Because one of the other things I was thinking about that some of these controller companies don't do, right, is they're housed in a single location. So you know, it's you're ordering your controller and it's coming from Texas, and what I was wondering is like, you know, what if I got a pool of people, talented people who can do small electronics repair and customizations, and I had basically builders all over the world that were working for me. You know what I mean? And I would basically remotely give them the work and remotely pay them. And basically, so if somebody ordered a controller from my company and they lived in Europe, then I would send an email to all my employees in Europe that are builders and be like, hey, I've got this many orders, who wants to take them? And they would click and say, I'll take that order, I'll fill it and send it out. And then they would get, and then they would receive all the money for that. And it'd be kind of a cool system where like basically the employees could log in and see the amount of orders that are being placed and be like, this is how many I feel like I can take on today. I'm going to take these orders and fulfill them and send them out. Stuff like that. Kind of like a bunch of micro manufacturing facilities instead of, you know, and then there your shipping and then your service starts to come quicker too. Like, oh, my controller needs to be fixed. Well, you're sending it right to a guy here in Europe, you know. And in my case, it'd be, you know, I'd be sending it right to somebody would be sending it to me from like California or Washington or someplace close West Coast, and then I'd have some East Coast builders too. And just do it that way. Run a company that way, you know. You don't need to be housed inside a building anymore. Like companies can be run completely out there in the digital forum.
Yeah, actually can't hear you now.
Oh yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. So yeah, that's quite good. Starting your own business. Since the new console is coming out, there's going to be loads of people who want a new controller.
Yep.
Good time to start.
Custom made as well.
Mm-hmm.
Quite good.
Yeah, I pulled a little savings into the bank so that as soon as I can order, I'll order 5 PS5s and 5 Xbox One X S Scarlet, whatever they're called, and modify those. That way I have, you know, a couple for each console right out the gate. And I think I'll be beating a lot of people to the punch, you know. I don't know if Scuff or Astro or any of the big brand names are going to have anything right out the gate to release. What they might have is, our old ones will firmware update and work on the PS5, but you won't have the DualSense and all that.
That's pretty cool. Well, hopefully it does well. I don't know if you can hear
Nice. Smoking a joint.
Oh yeah, I'm taking my back pain medication,
Ah,
as I like to call it.
I see, yeah.
I destroyed my back playing Superman about 10 years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was like somebody had parked their truck and failed to set their emergency brake, and it started rolling towards a private school playground. And so I ran and caught up with the truck and tried to stop it several times, eventually did, but in the process I completely ruptured and destroyed one of my vertebrae. So it was a good time. What's funny was the yeah, I'm just clearing out the lungs, clearing out the COVID.
Oh, okay.
COVID.
Whew. Speaking of, how you guys doing over there in England?
We're doing okay.
It's faring pretty good. I know here
Yeah.
in Washington State we're doing better than most of the other states.
England's sort of like on the verge of a second beat, I think.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It is what it is, I guess.
Yeah, luckily I've managed to stay healthy, you know. And
Yeah.
honestly, it's not as terrifying as to me. It's not as terrifying as a lot of people because I've had friends with compromised immune systems that have dealt with this for years. You know what I mean? That them
Yeah.
COVID-19's every flu season, and they survive it by doing simple things like brushing their teeth, washing their hands, not being stupid. You know,
Yeah.
they didn't have to take a whole bunch of extra special steps to mitigate the chances of being infected. But I won't argue that those help. You know,
Yeah.
like here in the States, we got all these people divided. Oh, I don't want to wear a mask. I'm not going to wear a mask. And other people are like, you better wear a mask or I'm going to freak the fuck out. And that's basically, I'm like, well, if I know you're going to freak the fuck out because I don't wear a mask, then I'm going to wear a mask, whether I feel I need to or not, because I honestly don't want to deal with you freaking the fuck out. So I put on the mask. And, you know, and it's a courtesy thing, too. You know, it's just like, oh, well, everybody else is doing it. They're afraid. And even if you don't think so, just be courteous and wear the mask. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with being a little courteous.
Yep.
Woo. Man, my lungs must have been dirty.
What games do you
Shit.
play right now?
I've been playing a lot of Call of Poopy.
Yeah.
A lot of Call of
Call of
Poopy.
Duty.
Or Call of Dookie, yeah.
Yeah.
Only because, like, this, for some odd reason, I mean, Call of Duty's always had an air of shittiness. You know, all my favorite first-person shooters, I love them to death, but they always have little shitty fucking issues, you know. Call of Duty or Battlefield, one of them's always fucking me over. And, but for some odd reason, though, I'll have to say, as shitty as this Call of Duty can be on occasion, on a great many occasions,
Yeah.
I still do better on this Call of Duty than I've done on any other Call of Duty to date since Modern Warfare 1 and Black Ops 1. For some odd reason, the mechanics allow me to basically perform almost as good as I do in a Battlefield game. Because that's another thing I've always noticed, is my KD is always, my Battlefield field KD is always double my Call of Duty. It's always double my Call of Duty KD. One, I guess, because you have the revive mechanic, and two, in Battlefield, there's still more control as to how and when you're going to engage an enemy. But in Call of Duty, you have no control over that. It's just like, be ready at any moment. Someone's going to come bunny hopping around the corner, fucking toss a C4 and fucking flashes at you. So I tend to play a lot more the Warzone and the Ground War on the new Call of Duty. That's basically what saved this Call of Duty, was Warzone, Ground War, and realism. Fucking realism.
I used to play Warzone, but since the new update, I have to clear my hard drive. I need at least
it's-
it's
it's-
200 gigabyte. I'm like, I'm gonna stop playing
Yep.
it.
Yeah, it's crazy how it is not optimized. I don't understand why, because basically what's happening though is like it requires 200 at the initial download, but
Yeah.
then it deletes its old files and installs new ones, and it's like, why couldn't you just fucking delete the old files and download the new ones in their
Yeah,
place?
yeah.
Like, you didn't optimize your code. They didn't optimize their systems and the code, and it's because a lot of these new programmers don't actually know how to program. They know how to copy and paste code.
Yeah.
That's what it
I
is.
was okay. I was fine at the beginning, first to update, but after 2 or 3 updates, I was like, I give up. I'm not gonna sacrifice my hard drive.
I know, it just sucks it all up. The only reason why I can play their games is I have an external 2 terabyte.
Yeah.
So I have 2 terabytes external, and basically Call of Duty just takes up the entire 500 gig fucking SSD I popped in there about 5 months ago. I was like, yeah, I'll get a little 500 gig SSD. Yeah, I'm taking a bite on the capacity, but it's an SSD. Everything will load super fast. And so, yeah, I got Call of Duty, and it loads really fast, and that's all I can really play.
Yeah.
But hey, the campaign, man, time between missions, there's no loading time.
That's good.
That's pretty sweet. Yeah, so I'll tell you what, like a PS Pro with an SSD, I can already feel a massive difference with the loading times when I would play any games. I was playing Fallout 4, because fucking talk about loading screens. Fallout 4 is just, it's half loading screen, half game. But you play with an SSD, and you don't even have time to read the little text on the little screen while it's sitting there trying to entertain you, because the loading screens are so
wait
long.
until the PS5, then you won't.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's going to be lightning fast. And then another thing that's interesting about this generation of consoles is we're kind of like, we're in this, basically in the 1980s, the Nintendo Entertainment System and the Sega Genesis were outputting graphics that were competitive to any personal computer or even business computer at the time. Like, and we're back there again. These two consoles, albeit even though they're going to be technically have smaller specs technically than some of these supercomputer, like, you know, your PS5 is going to have 16 gigs of RAM, and it's been going up against a PC that might have 32 gigs of RAM. The problem is that PS5 can use that 16 gigs of RAM faster than that PC can use its 32 gigs of RAM. So the PS5 may as well have 32 gigs of RAM, because it can fill the RAM, bring up a program, flush the RAM, and fill it up again, and then bring up another program, while at the same amount of time that 32 gigs will do it. And so both consoles are really impressive. I mean, the architecture in the freaking Xbox is really impressive too, but the PlayStation sets itself apart as it is a console. It is so console that it's built into the architecture, very much similar to how early consoles were built, like the Nintendo and the Sega Genesis and the TurboGrafx and all that. They were basically a computer that was completely redesigned to play nothing but video games and push graphics and memory through unthrottled ports. That's how the Sega Genesis, you know, ran so well. Its RAM was directly tied to what was basically the GPU CPU unit at the time. There was no, it didn't have to go through a bus port or anything like that. And that's exactly what's happening with the new consoles. Is they are basically a video gaming machine instead of what they've been in the last few years, these modified PCs to play video games.
Yes.
You know, this
Optimized,
is exactly.
Optimize something iOS or something.
Yep. And what that does again is it allows the amount of resources that are available to be completely used. Again, like a PC that's got 32 gigs of RAM. Well, if you're running Windows and you think you have a full 32 gigs of RAM at your disposal when you're playing that game, think again. All right,
Yeah,
Windows is going to be like, well, no, I'm going to need 2 gigs for whatever the fuck, and then I'm going to need 1.5 gigs just in case I feel like the video memory can't handle whatever we're doing. So you can have 28.
Yeah, it should be cool.
Yeah.
It's gonna be interesting to see the fact too. Another interesting thing is timed exclusive onlys. There's no God of War is going to be sold on the Xbox. Halo is going to be sold to the PlayStation for the first time ever.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
Halo on PlayStation?
Yep. Halo's coming to PS5.
Wow.
Sony and Microsoft both figured it out. Like, while trying to compete with themselves and creating these super exclusive titles to entice somebody to just buy their machine, it worked. But the sales the money they made from the extra machine sales pale in comparison to the money they would make if they just sold their fucking game to another console.
Yeah.
So
that'd be cool,
they're
having Halo.
So they're thinking, okay, so we'll fish the machine sales for a year. So God of War comes out for PlayStation 5 first, a year early before the Xbox sees it. And then the Xbox will see God of War. They'll be all excited. Sony will be excited because they will have fished what they feel is the extra PS5 sales out of the God of War release. And now they can go ahead and sell it to the Xbox guys who are going to be so excited to finally play God of War on the Xbox. And of course Sony's going to be like, well, yeah, we want something special, so you got to add something a little neat Xbox thing for our version, please. And we'll do the same for you. So like when you get the freaking PS5 version of freaking Halo, they'll throw out a skin that's like a PlayStation character skin that or something weird like that. I'm pretty sure they're going to do that so that they can crush the living shit out of Google. Because that's what's going to happen. Because Google's going to come out with exclusive titles for Google, but you're going to have to buy the Google system to play those games. All those developers are going to make these fucking fantastic games that Google's just going to sit on and not make any money on until they finally cave in and say, we're going to give up on the console and maybe we'll just do game development and sell our games to the pre-existing consoles. There you go, Google. Now you're thinking. You can make video games. Get the fuck out of the console war. Oh, well, my roommates are getting ready to set up a party for this evening.
Oh, wow.
Because
nice.
it's the 4th of July here, we light up the fireworks because it's
Yeah.
because we're a very rainy state too. Like it rains a lot in Washington State. They allow us to light off personal fireworks, so a lot of the people go crazy because they can buy some pretty. I think we can buy up to 16 gram shells.
Oh, right.
So it's pretty big. Yeah, it's like a half-ounce shell. Makes a big boom. A little bit bigger than an M80. About a quarter stick of dynamite, I'd say. It's got about a quarter stick of dynamite force. So, yeah, those going off. A lot of people will get the colorful mortar styles, though, so it's not just a loud boom. It has all the little sparks and stuff. So it's a good thing it rains here, man, because Washington State is nothing but trees. Like everywhere you look, there's freaking evergreen trees everywhere. If you get a chance to fly here, there's a reason why they call Seattle the Emerald City. It's because like all around it's just freaking green. It's kind of if you ever landed at Charles de Gaulle? You know how it's like basically in the middle of the farmlands?
What, in France?
Yeah.
I don't remember, I think. When I was young, but I don't remember.
Yeah. It's probably been a while. Yeah, see, I used to fly to Charles de Gaulle, and that would be, you know, it was like you were landing in the middle of a farmer's field. You know, you're just coming down, you're just coming right over these farmlands, and then like Seattle, it's. Oh yeah. I haven't been, bro. I flew out of Germany. That's the only thing I remember. I do not remember flying in because I think I was like 3 or 4, something like that. 3, must have been 3. But Germany's where
like old World War II stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Quite cool.
I did a Volksmarch. I remember that, doing a Volksmarch. It was like it's like a hike that everybody does together, and there's cider, and I remember the cider, and then I remember this funny thing. There was this lady that used to give me fresh carrots out of her garden. Like fresh little carrots.
Yeah.
It was interesting. Man, I mean, fuck, it's a weird thing to think about. You know, that lady who was giving me stuff out of her garden, she obviously was old enough to have survived World War II, you know, and been through all that, like the occupation of Germany by the Nazis and then the invasion of Germany by the Allied forces. Because that's the way I think any, you know, like there were normal people in Germany when freaking Hitler took power, you know what I mean? And they must have felt like their country had just been invaded by the Nazis, and then by the time the Nazis lost their grip on the power and the Russians and the Allies started rolling in, it was just like, now we're getting invaded by the Russians and the Allies. God, this sucks, man.
Yeah.
I didn't sign up for this.
Like parts of Germany that's like Russian.
Yeah.
Because of the wall.
Because of that the influence of Russia having control of East Germany. Yeah.
It's like heavily like Russian there.
Yeah, see, I haven't been to Germany since the wall fell.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when I was in Germany, the wall was still up. That was in 1984. 85,
wow.
from 84 to 85. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
I was just thinking about that. Yeah, like... No, neither was I. And I wonder if I think I saw it. I think I saw it because I remember this wall by the woods that I always wanted to go over. It was so long there was no end to it.
Yeah. Crazy time.
Yeah. Yep.
And now we even have even worse times.
I'm just worried about the recession.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hopefully everything gets sorted out.
Yeah. 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 Yep. Yep. We're gonna list some Scorps Unplugged tonight. Sounds good, man. Oh. Yep. Nope. Yep. Cool, man. Yeah, the recession's kind of hitting everybody, huh?
Yep.
Now, how are you guys faring? Was England able to pull something off similar to what the United States was able to do with like the unemployment system and some kind of financial assistance?
We did like so you wouldn't work, but you would get 80%.
Yeah.
Of what you were supposed to earn.
Yeah, furlough or something.
Yep. Yeah. See. Yeah, I went on a system like that at the very beginning, but our state system was not very well done, and it was not, the automated system was basically denying everybody. So I sat on my hands for like from March until I think I finally got paid at the end or the second week of June. So from March to June, I was basically living off of my savings and the good graces of my friends and family.
Oh, wow.
Like if I didn't have friends and family, basically I would have been freaking chewing on leather. So, but what ended up happening is like a couple days after Richie informed me that the National Guard had sent in a bunch of clerks and assistants to help our state with their system. One of the things I do know about the military is that when they get kids and they get them in the IT department, they teach them from the ground up. Like you're starting from machine code and you're working your way up. So I knew there was an experienced programmer that was going to look at their automated system and be like, bro, you got all the information you need to approve everybody. You just need to fix your fucking website. And he fixed it. Because it's like, after that, I've went back and used it. It's so much more efficient. All the information, it sum checks everything. It says, well, we got this information. Is this already correct? Is this still correct? This is what we got from you last time. Is this still the same? And so everything's more automated and faster.
Yeah.
Whereas before, basically, they had several different systems that wouldn't talk to each other. They had a regular standard unemployment, and then they kind of modified that system for the COVID-19 and made a separate one, and neither systems were talking to each other. So it was goofy. But we got it rectified, and all of a sudden I went from stressing about money to checking my bank account and having a freaking absorbent amount of money. Like, it was 13 weeks of back pay at $600 a week.
Oh, nice. Yeah, same.
So I took $5,000. I just threw it in my savings. And my brother right now is looking for a house, and I said I have $5,000 to throw in on the down payment.
Oh wow, nice.
So
That's nice.
And I'm slowly going back to work because I'll be working about 3 days a week as a bartender for a private bar and restaurant. So the nice thing about that too is I'll be serving basically the same people on a regular basis. So my chances of infection are significantly reduced than anybody who's working at any other standard restaurant, because they have, anybody's coming in and out of those doors.
Yeah.
And so there's kind of like, there's basically a compartmentalization naturally in that market system that allows me. And then of course the patrons are extremely vigilant about whether or not they're coming in sick or not, and putting others at risk and stuff like that. So it's, for me, it's a comfortable place to be working at. And then whatever extra money I'll be needing is going to be coming from the controller business.
All right, yeah, nice.
So, and I calculate if I could sell 10 controllers a month, that's an extra $1,000 right there.
Very nice.
So that's my goal, is to get
Well,
about 10 controllers shipped
Thanks,
out to
all.
people a month.
Maybe be able to buy more and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Eventually what I'd like to do is start doing like hyper customized controllers. I have a couple of friends who are left-handed, and boy would they love to get a PlayStation controller where the D-pad and the buttons are switched. Yeah, they would love that. Oh my goodness. Yeah, for Street Fighter and stuff. Oh, amazing. Be amazing for them. So I'm going to start doing that. I'm going to start offering left-handed controllers, which means I'm going to have to make my own modified faceplate. Switching the internals is not that hard. Looking at the pre-existing faceplate, I couldn't modify it so that the buttons would fit properly. I'd have to make specialized D-pad buttons, basically, because I'd be trying to put a square peg in a round hole, almost, But once I get those, hopefully I can make it popular enough that I won't be the only one offering the service. Because that's the idea, is I I don't want to be a competitor because honestly, none of the really top tier controller companies need or freaking can have competition. They're flooded. I ordered a controller from Battle Beaver, who's one of the best, and I ordered one from Evil because I'm going to reverse engineer their processes and see who does take basically the good out of both and apply it into one. And and then another thing I did is I called it my market research. I went and looked up all the negative reviews that these guys had because they had very few. They had a lot of positive reviews. And then looked at what the negative reviews were and saw a common malfunction. A lot of them, like one of them was the smart triggers, Battle Beaver smart triggers going bad. Well, looked at their actuator switches and they use plastic actuators. And then when I saw the manufacturers, though, the manufacturers will sell steel-pegged actuator switches. So I'm like, well, hey, if I use the steel pegs instead of the plastics, this malfunction that this top-tier guy is having is not going to be a problem for me. And then so that'll be one thing I have on them. Like, hey, I have this small little quality assurance, better than they do. And and I'll be friendly and pass the word along. Just become get in the business and be friendly in the business instead of ultra competitive and negative. I don't want to make people think that those other companies are bad. In fact, one of the things I was thinking about is if I ever got my website, and since I'm one person right now, once I've hit my max capacity where I know I can take your order and ship it to you in a decent amount of time, I'll start referring people to the Evil controllers and the Battle Beavers. And hey, I can't fill your orders. I'm at max capacity at this time. Check out these other services. These guys are really good. And then just maybe I'll have a thing where I said, hey, I sent them to you. Give me 5% of the sales or something.
Yeah.
And but because it's and then the second thing too that I saw that Evil's already gotten into it, and I'd like to maybe chip in on that is accessibility controllers for people with disabilities. Because that's a niche market that's not really tapped by any major producer, and you're given somebody who normally doesn't have a chance playing video games a chance to play video games. I mean, come on. You can't feel bad about that, So there's kind of like a warm and fuzzy to that too that you get. So I want to kind of get into that, research the needs of a lot of disabled gamers, and see what I can do to meet those needs. And then just because I'm doing one right now, my friend's dad, he just suffered a stroke, so his left hand is not as strong as his right hand, and he's a big time Battlefield player, dude. One of the top tankers in Battlefield. Any iteration of Battlefield, he's in the top of the leaderboards as a tanker. And he's an anti-air tanker. He's the guy who shoots the sky campers out of the fucking sky. You want him on your team. You definitely want this guy on your team. But yeah, so his weakened left thumb has made it harder for him to push the thumbstick. Well, I did a little research. I can get some reduced tension thumb springs and reduce the amount of pressure he needs to put on the thumbstick to move it forward, left, or right. And so I'm going to get him a customized left thumbstick and then a under button for his left hand, so he can do a D-pad command with that under button, and be shipping that one out to him hopefully by the end of August. Because I'm still waiting on my parts. For some odd reason, my parts are going to take another 47 days to get here from China. I'm guessing they're having production and shipping, and they're having all sorts of issues right now. Because their way of handling things is, in the Western world's way of handling things, a little bit different. They have this swinging pendulum effect where they go from one extreme to the other. It's like, we're going to start locking people into their apartment buildings, to let's just open up the country and say fuck it.
Yeah, same thing though.
It's kind of weird. It's the swinging pendulum that's going on. Like all these people. Oh man, I'm gonna protest police brutality by brutalizing other people the same way cops do, senselessly and without reason. You know, it's kind of like, oh, I want to raise awareness for pollution, so I'm just going to pollute. It doesn't. And what was one of the things I noticed is the fact of this the righteous championing, right? So it's an African American guy that gets gunned down, and the largest presence of upset people out in the street are a bunch of white kids, basically, you know. And you know, there are some the African American community, they were expressing their concern in a much different way. They weren't the protests weren't predominantly African American. Dude, when I was watching the Seattle protests, it wasn't an African American kid stealing the gun out of the back of a police car. Some little cracker ass punk with a face mask who almost got gunned down by a freaking, you know, former freaking operator. I saw it live, dude. This kid reaches in the back of a police car that's on fire, pulls fucking one of the ARs out of the bag, and he racks the slide because I guess off camera I didn't see it. A moment earlier, somebody had already grabbed another AR and opened fire on one of the police cars. And this guy who was hired to be like security for a news camera crew, he started to see it go down. He used to work in, you know, he operated in Afghanistan and Iraq. He did contract work and training for people, and so he was seeing the situation. Got up to the first guy, snatched his gun. That's why he had an AR slung around his shoulder already. That AR had already been disarmed. He pulled the bolt and the firing pin out of that super quick, and he just moves on this kid. He has his hand up, super tactical, and he's just telling the guy, fucking drop the gun, drop the gun. The guy starts to drop it, he snatches it, and you could see the kid almost starts to get weak in the knees. His friend had to grab him and pick him up and like pull him back and stuff, and the dude just like, you know, he grav unloads. He uses gravity, you know, where he clicks the mag switch and flicks the gun in a half circle almost, and the mag just kind of falls out to the ground, and then he hits the breaching switch, opens up the chamber, pulls the bolt and the freaking firing pin out, pockets them, closes the rifle back up, and slings it over the back. And there were people making comments, oh, a normal citizen shouldn't be making moves like that. That was a little uncalled for, you know. And instantly it's like, that guy's not a normal citizen, okay? Did you see the way he... And it's hard to make that many intelligent decisions at that high rate of speed consistently. Eventually you start making mistakes. It's called decision fatigue. It's a real thing. Doctors, it happens to doctors a lot.
Yeah.
So that was pretty crazy to see. And I saw an interview a couple of days later with that guy, and the guy kind of got to break down what was going on and why he did what he did. And I guess at one point in time, though, and you could tell he kind of felt a little upset about it, you know, because it's his job professionally to make everybody that he's keeping safe feel safe. But one of the people in the camera crew was like upset that he had gone out of his way to disarm those protesters and felt quote unquote unsafe with him and wanted to leave when they were in a secure area. But other than that, you know, I felt like the guy did his job, and better him having those guns slung over his shoulder with no firing pins than some random kid with a face mask who knows he has the anonymity of, you know, not being known if he does something stupid. And not only that, but they just don't understand basic firearms rule, like flagging your firearm on people, like, and things like that. Because that was one of the things a bunch of dudes did, was they broke down. There was I don't know if you saw the news about the lawyer and his wife that came out of their house with guns drawn to. Yeah, yeah. That guy, like their lack of gun safety was pretty bad. Like he flagged his wife like several times, had the gun pointed at her back like more than once, like, and but they did have the legal right to do that, and you know, there was a bunch of funny memes. It produced a lot of funny memes.
Yeah.
My favorite were the movie poster memes. Oh, and then there was a Grand Theft Auto one. That was fucking awesome.
Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah. Oh, you know, God, you know Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to have some fucking jokes about 2020 in it.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Those guys are they're like they're like the South Park of video game makers. They kind of make fun of everything and everybody, and they don't pick and choose though. They go after it all, and I always admire that kind of humor where you don't just pick one side and make fun of that side. You know, like you got a lot of comedians in America that basically make their living pandering to people's political ideologies. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I'm just gonna make fun of Republicans and fill the seats full of Democrats, or I'm gonna make fun of Democrats and fill the seats full of Republicans. And no one's like George Carlin, where he just makes fun of fucking everybody, and he's got everybody in his fucking in his audience. You know, the classics, the classics. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is they got that thing where they make fun of everybody, you know. And that was one of the things that I think that tripped me out the most about South Park getting heat for the Muhammad episode. Because in my mind, you think about all the episodes South Park has had featuring Jesus.
Yeah.
Right? Think about that. They've made thousands of episodes in which Jesus is portrayed in, I don't know, in a humorous light, maybe not always negative, but they poke fun at Jesus. They do. They poke fun at Jesus. Does the Christian community flip their lid every time that happens? Hell no. God, we're used to that shit, man. Get over it, dude. Get over it. But for some odd reason, like, the Islam community, like, you say something about Muhammad and it's just, oh no, you've crossed a line. You've crossed a line that nobody should cross. And it's just like, get over yourself, man. We got people making fun of Jesus all day long. Let it be on them, you know. If you feel it's offended and they've offended Muhammad, well then let freaking Muhammad let them know how upset he is with them when they die, you know. Let him sort it out. Let God sort it out, mate. That's like, you know, I always like that line. Let God sort him out. And because you know I am a Christian. I'm not afraid to say that, but I will say I believe I'm different than a good larger portion of the Christian community too. But that's the beauty of it. It's, you know, look at the 12 apostles and how different they were. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. With their relationship in Christ and their understanding of everything Christ tried to drop on them, which oftentimes is kind of funny. Like, we get to read it, the full thing, so we kind of understand, and, all right, you know, so we get to see sometimes those things going over the top of their heads, and why? Come on, how do you not understand what Jesus is saying there? You know, but it's. That's the way. It's kind of like I said. It's the microcosm of the macrocosm of the Christian community. You know, you've got a whole bunch of Peter, Pauls, and Jameses, and you've got some Judases out there, man. Trust me, you got a lot of bad Judases and a couple good Judases, because there was the good Judas too. But that's just people. That's just numbers. You know. But, yeah, it was, you know, because a lot of people like to argue, oh, you kind of believe that because somebody else told you. You're reading some book. You don't even know if it's true and all that. And there was a point where I decided, well, let's just look at the logic of this whole scenario, right? Let's break it down logically. So just cut away all the fat down to the bones. There's this entity known as a god. He has all these children. He gave them free will. He understands that because of this free will he just gave them, there will be consequence of sin. So he needed to find a way to ratify that situation. Son says, hey, listen, I will perform a intergalactically spiritual legal act that will basically allow me to, take on the sins, the mistakes of everybody and ratify them, fix them somehow, correct them. But people have to ask me to do this. And of course, the father entity is in his mind thinking, well, that's cool because anyways, son, I want you to take over the family business. One day you're going to be like me. And the only way for you to be like me is to understand the people you're going to be God over. You know what I'm saying? So you need to go down there and be with them. So Christ is sent, and the guy who is going to be our king and our ruler for eternity cleaned our feet, healed the sick, gave hope to the hopeless, fed the hungry, served the people in the same manner that he would ask people to serve each other in his name. He came down and gave us the perfect example of what a good king and ruler would do before he became a king and ruler. And that thing was serve the people he would then rule over first. So he came and he served us. You know what I mean? He gave the food, eat of this bread. He performed the miracle with the loaves of bread and the fish. He reignited the understanding that the spirit behind the law was greater than the words that made the law up, the letter of the law, basically. The words could always be manipulated, but the spirit of the law would always remain unchanged. Because essentially by the time Christ had come, the Jewish religion had been so structure. The law, as is exactly described, is not its true intent. Like thou shalt not kill. It's not. You shouldn't even be thinking about killing people. Is what Jesus is saying. Like you need to take that idea out of your heart if you want to survive for eternity. Because an eternal being that has the desire to kill its opposition will either destroy all things or destroy itself, or get destroyed by any group of higher beings that want to maintain basically stability. So it was just this basic logic. I mean, he's the perfect logical candidate to be a god. Any other religion in the world has failed to produce a more prime candidate, a more perfect being to be king and ruler over the entire world. You want Krishna? Fuck no. You want Zeus? No. Any of the Greek gods? They all got human fucking problems. Jesus Christ is the most godly entity that this earth has ever seen. Everything he did, his understanding of people was godly. His patience was godly. His mercy was godly. You see what I'm saying? Everybody thinks about God and they think about his destructive power, but they don't think about, wait, he's also empathetic, so more empathetic than you can ever be. He's a God. He has godly empathy. He has godly understanding, godly patience, godly mercy. Of course he has godly patience, man. Any other being was God, dude, people would be dropping like flies with how much they insult and ridicule God every day. Yeah. So he has to have patience. Patience beyond the comprehension of any human being. We can't comprehend it. That's why people always ask this question, well, if there's a God, why did he let all this suffering and terrible stuff happen? Because he knows more than you know, and he understands more than you understand. And the biggest thing is, how would you ever know that you made it to heaven if you didn't experience something less first? You know what I'm saying? Because that's another theory I always had, is I believe that this experiment was initiated because when Lucifer questions God's power, basically, saying I could do the same thing, you know, I think he put it in the minds like, well, how do we know this is even heaven? You know what I mean? How do we know we have it good? How do we know we can't make it better than what you have given us? Oh, God. And God was like, hey, you want to see if you could do better than me? All right. Send you all down there. I'll wipe your memories, and you guys can give it a go. Go ahead and build a heaven on earth. Good luck, folks. And here we are today, 100% failure. Not going to happen, because we can't do it better than God can. If we want to build a utopian society, we're going to have to build it on the foundations that he laid out before us. That means don't kill each other, don't lie to each other, don't covet what your neighbors have, don't cheat on your wife. You know what I mean? If as a society you don't do these things, you succeed. I mean, that's the reason why the Jews are the only ancient society that has survived, because their structure for their society was not built upon physical. Is okay, you know, I've read this Bible and all that. Like, convince me in a few words that this Bible is telling the truth. And his advisor was, the Jews are still alive. And I mean, you look at it. Where are the Greeks? The Greeks are gone. Where's Rome? Rome's gone. Egypt's gone. They all got fucking destroyed, just like the Bible described, because none of them took the offer that God said, hey, you know, stop fucking with me and I won't destroy your ass, basically, brand. You know? Because, dude, Egypt would be here today, I think, if the Pharaoh would have just let Moses go willy-nilly, no problems. We'd have an Egypt that might still be here today.
Yeah.
Well, probably not, no, because they probably would have crumbled later. They wouldn't have survived. It's just not going to happen. Not when there's too much secrecy. Secrecy is, you know, God doesn't keep secrets. Is this real life? Nothing have I done, I have done in secret.
Emoji slightly smiling face.
It's a quote directly from God the Father. So he's basically saying, I don't do anything in secret. I don't keep secrets. Anything you want to know, I will reveal to you. But then you have these societies of secret keepers, these people who keep secrets, and they pass these secrets on to generation and generation. And the knowledge of those secrets gives them how do you say it? Like this superiority complex, basically. See what I'm saying? Whether the secrets they know are even true. You see, they don't know, but so they have the superiority complex. So they look at the rest of the world like, you guys don't know, but I do. Kind of like conspiracy theorists when they go too far. You know, they know, and the rest of us, we're just all idiots. You know, because I'm a conspiracy guy. But I also, how do you say, I understand the rudimentary ideas of, I don't know, basic reality. You know, there's like some things, okay, that's not, the limitations on that aren't too astounding. That could very be plausible. And then you've got people suggesting things that are just ridiculous, like aliens from the Draco galaxy trying to manipulate the bank. You know, like what's wrong with just human beings from planet Earth that just have shit attitudes? You know, that's a lot more believable. Human beings with shit attitudes that are all getting together and working in tandem together to manipulate the banks. Hey, I can buy that. Aliens from the Draco galaxy, strike that one from the books, please. But from my perception, people who say that might be working for the opposition. They're pretending that they're revealing a conspiracy, but what they're doing is they're attaching this astronomical thing to a very real thing to basically discredit it to the rest of society. Because they don't care if the conspiracy theorist guys buy it, because you're a small number, you don't have an influence on the total perception of reality. But if the rest of society started to buy into this, then we might lose our concept of control. So we attach this super fantastic idea like aliens from the Draco galaxy to the idea that bankers from all sorts of country internationally are working together to crumble all the governments to create their own one world banking system government of Neolithical control. And that's more realistic, you know. The aliens, no, but the people, yes, you know, because there's a lot of historical evidence to back that up when you research families like the Rothschilds and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, wait, look at these guys freaking pulling the strings behind World War I and World War II. Oh, my goodness. So, but then you have to, and then, oh, yeah, they're aliens from the Draco galaxy. The world is flat, and there's a freaking paradise on the other side of Antarctica. And it's just like, wow, where are we? The world is flat. I'm not sure about that. I think that discredits the magnificence of the creation that God made. Not only that, but from my observation in my personal research, I've learned that Lucifer loves to imitate God in as many fashions as he can, stealing the symbols and the creations that God makes. But Lucifer's just an image. He's just a two-dimensional, flat, unsubstantiated idea. He's basically just a roving spirit without a body, and and he probably will never get one. That's why he likes to watch us destroy ours, because he loathes the fact that we all got to have this physical experience and he was denied it. But so I feel like the circle is just the imitation of a sphere. And so Lucifer, when he convinces people the world is flat, he's also convincing them that it's his creation. Because if he were to ever actually make something, that's all he would be able to make, would be this flat, one-dimensional reality. But God can make a sphere and have people housed on it and have you walk all around it and still be faceted to the ground using forces of nature that we can barely comprehend, because he is God and magnificent. And so I never felt like science is something that disproves God. I always felt like it's just showing you how God does things. This is how he did it. This is how intricate it is. And every time scientists look into it, they're like, wow, this is so intricately put together, it's hard to believe that it just kind of does it on its own. But we're still going to believe that and continue to try and push that theory until we eventually disprove ourselves and prove otherwise. Science, the long road to God. I've heard a couple people say that after I thought of that idea, that science was the slow and tedious and long road to discovering God. And faith allowed you to make the leaps that science couldn't do. And what's funny is, my personal journey into my faith was very scientific. If you think about it, like I had a control period, a period where I didn't practice prayer. And then I had a sub-control period where I practiced prayer but without denoting a name to anybody. And then I eventually started praying in the name of Jesus and realizing that the effectiveness of those prayers had been increased tenfold. So then I, in my experimentation, had deduced that the name of Christ and the idea of this Christ person, when you attach it to your prayers, it's potent. The prayers are very potent. The effects, they come out, and so I've always advised people, just from my personal scientific experimentation, try it. Try praying in the name of Jesus. And being sincere about it, though, because, He's omnipotent, okay? He knows if you're just being like, oh, God, my friend told me to do this. I don't even fucking believe this, but could you just help me out, man? Like, shit's rough right now. Like, and what's crazy, though, from, like I said, from my early experimentation, he'll still help you. You know what I mean? He'll still help you to a degree or not. It's just the effectiveness, the potency, and the kind of like cascading effect where, like, one of the things I noticed is oftentimes when my prayer was answered, it was in a group of like a lot of other people's prayers being answered in tandem, then allowing my prayer to be answered, essentially. It was weird. I started noticing that, like, God does this weird fantastical thing where, like, yeah, well, I'm going to line it up so that when I help you out, I'm not just helping you out, like, I'm helping a whole line of people out. It's just, and I started seeing that connection in my answered prayers, that, like, it was, when I was using the name of Jesus, it was, I wasn't the only one benefiting from my prayers then. So
I think has high from the medicine.
And I'm not saying that to convince you. I'm just informing you guys, like, this is the information I've gathered. These are the results that I've gotten. Please get scientific. Try it yourself. And next time we chat, let me know what your experiences were. Because I really feel that there's not enough, unemotional, rational discussion about spirituality, and a lot more ground gets covered when you're in that state of mind, where you're a little bit detached from the physical because you're talking about a spiritual subject, where emotions aren't quite as necessary. Because I think that spiritual entities basically don't get to experience emotion to the degree that we do until they've had a physical experience. So pre-physical experience, we had no idea what true happiness or true sadness was. We had the ability to observe it and know, okay, when somebody's sad, they do these physical things. When they're happy, they do those physical things. We couldn't really understand the feelings that they were going through physically and spiritually. Because the physical experience then does have an effect on the spirit. It's part of spiritual evolution. It's because, from my understanding, life evolves. Like, God the Father, Jesus Christ the Son, like, it's a natural process. Just like we procreate, it seems to me that God in a manner procreates, and his form of procreation involves a system where pure intelligences are thrust into a physical experience where they then evolve to understand, to better be peers and or servants to those who basically, to somebody like Jesus, who's going to be essentially just like his Father. His understanding and his concept of the universe and of people and of psychology and of spiritualism and all that, he's created a physical experience that was so perfect that he's basically ready to step in and do his Father's work now. Because I'm pretty sure it's taxing being a god forever, and you might want to eventually just sit back, let somebody else do it for a minute that you can trust does it just as good as you, and just observe and relax and hang out with the wife and the kids you know, go work in the garden and not have to stress. Because, you know, I'm pretty sure Heavenly Father's stressing. If you, he wants everybody to make it. He wants that's why Jesus came and sacrificed himself, so that any and all sins could be washed away if needed to. So that, you know, basically Jesus is offering to be everybody's lawyer at the eternal court. You know, when we stand there to be judged, it's like you can defend yourself, good luck, or you can hire the best fucking attorney in the whole galaxy. You know, there's nobody better. That's what I'm doing, you know. Hey, I want that guy to represent me. So, oh man, I promised Richie I'd help him, and
Oh,
I just got
brother,
caught up
this
chatting
guy
with you guys.
stinks.
Well, I appreciate you guys lending me your ears. And
No problem.
XO, I wanted to hop in and talk with you, man, because, you know, I've always had a good time chatting with you, and I know you're a cool guy, and I just saw you were in the party, and wanted to hop in, and
invite me to a party, but I just in, like Netflix or something. I don't really play
Yeah.
games on this anymore.
Oh yeah. Well, you know, I'm low maintenance. I'll never be like, oh, he never joins parties. I'm so hurt. He maybe doesn't like. No, I'm low maintenance, man.
Yeah.
Low maintenance. Whenever we meet up, it's when we do. If you can't make it, you can't. You know, it's life, man.
Yeah.
So you guys continue to enjoy your day. I'm gonna get this party ready and popping.
Alright,
So,
fun thing, and, yeah.
Ricky,
Good luck.
Yep, nice
nice meeting you, bro.
Yep. Yep, have a nice party.
Thank you.
And good luck on your business. Brother.
Alright, put it on front of it.
Oh.
I'm gonna appear on mine. Oh, brother, this guy stinks. Yeah, he's a nice guy. He just goes off on like weird talks sometimes. He actually is quite a nice guy, though.
Yeah. Something like he treated us like a therapist.
Yeah, he was like, yeah, that's what he does. He just like goes off on a tangent, and I'm just like, I just let him do it.
Yeah, he was way too pretty for me.
Yeah. Oh well.
Nice guy, but too pretty.
Yeah, he sounds like he's unwell, or something like that. Oh well. Anyway, what the fuck's been going on with your city?
I literally didn't know what to do. Like,
What have you been doing? You've been building so many water things.
it's because because I've been pumping so much water. My river ran out.
Oh my days, really?
Yeah. I literally.
How do you get water then?
I have no idea. I'm waiting for the day to come out.
Oh, brother, this city stinks!
Oh, brother, this guy stinks.
Aren't you supposed to make a reservoir or something?
Maybe. Operating normally.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Brother, this guy stinks. So I don't know what's happening. Oh, it's fine now. I think you can see the water line. You can see the water line started to drop off because I've been putting so many water pipes. Oh shit. Not operating. Oh shit.
keeps talking. Oh, brother, he keeps talking.
Sounded like I was in religious study class or something.
He's really quite like knowledgeable. Sounds like.
Yeah.
Be right back. 2 seconds. There's cosmetics.
Oh dear. Did you meet him at playing what do you call Battlefield?
Yeah.
I see.
He watched my stream.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh shit, hopefully he doesn't watch my stream. You know his whole ramble. You know his whole ramble.
What?
I think it's been recorded on my stream. Just realized it. Damn. Damn, brother.
Daniel.
I started to like didn't take him seriously after he says like he believes in conspiracy. I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
At least he doesn't believe the earth is flat.
Yeah, some people do that, don't they?
How old is he?
I can't remember.
Oh, okay.
I think he's quite old, yeah. I think he's in his 40s.
Ah, maybe he's using too much Facebook or something. I literally don't know what to do with this city. Damn, so like on the UK we also celebrate 4th of July or something? Because I can hear fireworks. I do. On mine I can hear it, like I can hear fireworks going on. Bloody poo, mate. Wee. We in the Liverpool, not Washington. Oh. Oh, hell no. Yeah, oh no. My name is Brain.
Pizza is the pizza, yeah. Frosty Remember when you used to do that?
Yeah, Brain. Of the Battlefield one. Shock.
When you do that in one of my videos, and I like edited it to hear your voice or something.
Oh no, it was like, it's mine.
Yeah, there you go.
It's mine.
Oh, that was funny.
It's mine, and you got like loads of people.
Yeah, I killed like people like. Like that.
Wow!
What's that noise?
Whoa!
What happened?
If you got fear of heights, you're gonna definitely gonna fear this.
Oh shit. Is that where the pollution?
Sorry?
Like those brown patches, are those pollution?
Yeah.
You need to fix it, man.
I can't. Pollution is pollution. Unless we run with our farts or something. Biofuel. This is an actual pollution. Do you see that? It's a Suez River. Look at this. The whole ocean is brown because of my Suez. You can see? It's normally blue, dark blue at the back, but the whole entrance of my ocean is like Suez.
Everywhere. Ew.
Lovely water. You can swim on it, drink it. Nice.
You can drink it, you can swim in it. You all
Oh, look at this! Look at this! Look at this!
What's this? Wait, hold on. Oh, brother. What's that? No, don't blow something out. What the fuck?
Watch out! Wait for it! Wait for it! Taking ages.
Where's it going?
It takes time. It takes time. What? It's not happening or something.
Don't put it on your fucking tsunami out of nowhere. What the hell?
What's going on?
Astrologists report that a devastating meteor will strike the city in
Oh.
the near future.
Oh.
Residents should seek
Watch
shelter
out, watch out.
immediately if any is available. Astrologists report that a devastating meteor will strike the city in the near future.
It's coming soon. It's coming
Residents
soon.
should seek shelter immediately if any is available. Astrologists report that a devastating meteor will
Whoa.
strike the city in the near future. Residents should seek shelter immediately if any is available.
Oh!
Sam Zorg.
A meteor strike has occurred. Avoid the impact site and head to shelter if any is available. A meteor strike has occurred. Avoid the impact site and head to shelter if any is available. A meteor strike has occurred. Avoid the impact site and head to shelter if any is available. A meteor strike has occurred. Avoid the impact site and head to shelter if any is available. A meteor strike has occurred. Avoid the impact site and head to shelter if any is available. A meteor strike has occurred. Avoid the impact site and head to shelter if any is available. A
Bloody
meteor
hell.
strike has occurred. Avoid the impact site and head to shelter if any is available.
Looks what's happened. Jam Zorg.
Alright, I'm playing again.
Sorry?
I'm doing this puzzle.
Oh, I see. Alright, alright.
Astrologists report that a devastating meteor will strike the city in the near future. Residents should seek shelter immediately if any is available. Geologists predict that a sinkhole could strike at any minute. Residents should take precautionary measures.
What the hell? What is that?
It's a nightmare. No.
What's going
A
on?
meteor strike has occurred. Avoid the impact site and head to shelter if any is available.
Yo, what the fuck is happening to your facility?
I'm in a first-person mode.
Yeah, what is it? Who is this guy?
No idea. Some random guy.
What the fuck is he doing?
50,000 people used to live here. Now it's a ghost town. What? What?
Oh my word.
What's going
A
on?
sinkhole has occurred somewhere in the city. Stay out of harm's way and contact authorities with any information.
What are you fucking like backflipping and shit?
I think it's a mannequin or something. No, I mean, what do you call? Stuffed animal. Hold on.
Meteorologists are issuing a thunderstorm warning for the coming days. Citizens are advised to stay indoors. A thunderstorm is battering the city. Stay indoors until the storm has passed.
What the fuck? What are you doing?
Man, I really need a bong. I think bong. Bong.
A bomb.
Bong. That guy was smoking. A big, massive meteor is gonna come soon.
Astrologists report that a devastating meteor will strike the
Oh,
city
what's
in
out?
the
Look
near
at this. Look
future.
at this.
Residents
You don't want to miss this out.
immediately if any is available.
You don't want to miss this out.
Astrologers report that a devastating meteor will strike the city in the near future. Residents should seek shelter immediately if any is
Oh,
available.
is it coming soon? It's coming soon.
Astrologists report that a devastating meteor will strike the city in the near future. Residents should seek shelter immediately if any is available. Astrologists report that a devastating meteor will strike the city in the near future. Residents should seek shelter immediately if any is available. Astrologists report that a devastating meteor will strike the city in the near future. Residents should seek shelter immediately if any is available. Astrologists report that a devastating meteor will strike the city in the near future. Residents should seek shelter immediately if any is available. Astrologers report that a devastating meteor will strike the city
What's
in the
going
near
on?
future. Residents should seek shelter immediately if any is available. Astrologists report
What's
that a
going on?
devastating meteor will strike the city
Whoa.
in the near future. Residents should seek shelter
hell?
immediately if any is available. A meteor strike has occurred. Avoid the impact site and head to shelter if any is available. Astrologists report that a devastating meteor will strike the city in the near future. Residents should seek shelter immediately if any is available. A meteor strike has occurred. Avoid the impact site and head to shelter if any is available. A meteor strike has occurred. Avoid the impact site and head to shelter if any is available. A meteor strike has occurred. Avoid the impact site and head to shelter if any is available. A meteor strike has occurred. Avoid Avoid the impact site and head to shelter if any is available. A meteor strike has occurred. Avoid the impact site and head to shelter if any is available.
Whoa.
A meteor strike has occurred.
I honestly can't see nothing now.
Head to shelter if any is available. A meteor strike has occurred. Avoid the impact site and head to shelter if any is available. A meteor strike has
Holy
occurred.
shit.
Avoid the impact site and head to shelter if any
I'm
is
floating.
available.
What the fuck? It's so like dented that you're floating. Well, I can't wait till it's daytime.
Oh shit. The whole city's on fire.
Wait, what?
Actually, nah. Oh, it was.
You fucked everything, man.
Nearly. What's going on here?
So, boy, am I.
What's going on here, man?
What's that?
Oh, brother, this guy stinks. Jam walk. Waiting for the daytime. Come on. I'm flying supersonic.
Oh.
What? Superman. He said he broke his back when he was a Superman or something. I was like, what?
Yeah, he saved somebody. That's what he was trying to say.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like a car was going to like rush like a kid or something.
Oh, I see.
Jumped in the way.
Ah. Look. Look what's the damage that has been done.
Oh my word. Well, you can't build anything on that, huh?
I think I can do something. Look.
You can't build anything on that.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, I can't.
You can make water.
I have to see.
You can make a lake.
Oh, I don't have the water there.
Oh, you stay. Come on, you gotta get all those monuments, man.
I hate these. Oh.
What?
What the hell?
What happened?
Oh my days.
What?
Come on.
What the fuck? You gotta drive. You fucking crashed your car, you idiot. Oh, brother. This guy's thing.
4x4 caravan. 4x4 myself. Whoa.
You
Look at
fuck-
bike. Ah! Ah! I'm gonna be like skateboard over here. What? What? Pokemon, I'll be my best friend. In a world we must be fair. Ooh. I'll be right back.